Hello everyone, and welcome back to Synergy Technical's IT Mythbusting. As always, I'm your host Lexi, and today's myth, or more of an idea, is that nobody would hack me. There are two paths to go on this. The first is I'm not valuable enough, meaning I'm not an executive, I'm not a government worker, I'm not some, big shot famous person, I don't have millions in the bank, anything like that. The other way to go with this, which is I probably would say a little bit more common, and perhaps I fall into this category, is, well, I've already been hacked. My data's not good enough. My data's already out there. Why would you want it? So to start with a stat, because that's what we do here, more than 1 in 3 Americans have already been hacked. And of course, this is going to continue to grow. If you do the math there's no way that a third of the country, and that third of the country being people who have been hacked, are executives, politicians, celebrities, any of the sort. That's just not how that works. Chances are it is the average Joe because we don't have that enterprise-grade security around our personal devices, like someone who has the fate of a company or the fate of a government relation on their back. We don't need that. And to try and kind of drive this point home, the average price for a personal attack, not a corporate ransomware attack, is only $80, rather than it being thousands or hundreds of thousands even, or the typical, you have 24 hours to give me 30 Bitcoin, or I'm going to release all your data to your contacts and the whole world. We see those still, of course, but they're not as popular. And that's because a lot of these ransomware groups have shifted their strategy almost. They've kind of gone into marketing. They know that it's way easier to get 1,000 people to give you $80 than it is to get just 8 people to give you $10,000. There are very few people that A, value their data enough to pay 10 grand for it, and B, have 10 grand just sitting around in liquid cash that they can just give to a ransomware attacker. And these ransomware groups have now gotten to the point where they pride themselves on customer service. As people, you don't even view it as, you think they're helping you because they say, for $80, you can have all of your data back, and we have a money-back guarantee. If you have any ransomware on your device after the fact, or you're missing a file, or something is still encrypted, we'll fix it for free, no charge, because that's how nice we are. We're helping you. So they've kind of reframed themselves as almost like a geek squad of sorts, when in reality, they're the ones doing the terrible action of taking over your computer and putting ransomware on it. But they've done such a great job of their marketing, great job to their team, I guess, because we don't view them as malicious anymore. Of course it's annoying, but if someone said, hey, you have to give me 10 grand to get back all of your stuff on your computer, I would be upset, for sure. And I'm just not gonna even think about that. That's a no-go. There's this computer, there are things on here that I love, it is not worth $10,000 to me. But if someone said, I took over your computer, give me $80, I'll give you everything back, and you have a money-back guarantee, I would definitely go for it. And I think a lot of us might think we wouldn't, but in the heat of the moment, chances are $80 is not that much to get all of your data back. It's such a life-altering and interrupting event to lose all of your data and have to go buy a new computer and start from scratch and figure out what you lost, and then you continue to wonder, is there something I'm missing here? So for $80, of course I'm gonna do that. You can't even buy a new computer for $80. It's easy. So that's kind of showing you the new landscape that we're entering. They're going for a high volume of people at a low price rather than getting these really big ticket. Of course, if they can get someone to pay $10,000, yeah, of course, easy money. But they're pretty easily getting people to pay $80 day in, day out. Why would they try anything different? And even if you think your data is not valuable, a hacker gains access to your computer, goes, wow, Lexi, there's nothing on here that I care about. You've been breached so many times, nothing here is new. I don't care. There are a lot of things they can still do. The biggest one that we see, and it's almost a more robust version of the CEO email, is they will take over your email account. And you don't even know they're there, maybe. You'd have to maybe look at your outbox. They're not doing anything on your computer because they just don't feel like it. Instead, they know that this friend that you have is some corporate executive and makes millions of dollars. Then they email that friend, and then they just go down your list. Say, dear friend, I've had a really tough week. My car just got towed. I get paid on Friday. Is there any way you can loan me just $100 to help me get my car from the impound lot? You know, you're a great friend. I really appreciate your friendship and support in this time. I would really appreciate if you could just loan me the money. I'll get it back to you in 2 weeks. It's just a cash flow issue. And chances are, if that friend has such a high level of income, they've done their research, and they see it's just $100, they'll probably loan it to you. And they've already created that trust. These people the ransomware groups are weaponizing and leveraging the trust and relationships you've built. So because that person trusts you, they have no reason to distrust this email. It is coming from your inbox. It is going to them. There's no reason to distrust this. You don't even know that you have a hacker in your email probably. So of course they give you the money, and the only way you find out about it is you meet your friend for coffee one day and they say, hey, where's that $100 I loaned you? You said you'd get it to me by Friday. And you say, what $100? And then that's how you find out. Because all they do, they just email a bunch of your friends. If they get 2 people to send them $100, that's $200 they didn't have yesterday, and it's not much work. So they're leveraging these relationships and the trust that you've built, not just your data. You are incredibly valuable. I really want to drive home the point that all data has inherent value, whether you see it or not. And this is really going to change in the threat landscape because now hackers are doing a breach and gaining access to data. They're getting hashed passwords. They can't do anything with the hashed passwords right now. You don't think you're at risk. But there's been reports from really big news companies that hackers are breaching data for hashed passwords and waiting because they know that soon, very soon, supercomputers will be able to dehash these passwords. And then they have access to everything. So even if you don't think it's valuable, it actually might not be valuable right now, but if someone else is able to see the potential in your data, passwords, emails, anything, then they're gonna go ahead and take it right now while you're not worried, you're not on high alert. So just know that even if your stuff isn't valuable right now, even if your passwords are incredibly secure, supercomputers, new threats every day are appearing and people are getting used to them and using them in the real world. So just keep that in the back of your head. I know that it's kind of scary to think that there are computers being built right now that could dehash passwords that you view as incredibly secure, but that's the world we live in today. I tell you all this, not to scare you. I tell you this to give you renewed hope in securing your life. I know that personally, it can be very easy to say, it's so hard to keep myself secure. There are breaches every day. It doesn't matter how many new passwords you use. It seems like it's luck of the draw and everyone's really unlucky. We're just gonna keep getting breached. Why would I put the effort in? Why do I care to keep using new passwords if my data keeps getting breached, I keep having hacks, and I feel very insecure no matter how hard I try? Even if you wanna give up, even if you think that you're just, whatever, my data's out there, I don't care anymore, your data, your account, you getting breached could hurt your friends and family. Even if you're done, in a sense, it is up to you to help protect those people. Not only through education, if you know more about cybersecurity, help them put 2-factor authentication on their devices, anything like that. But by protecting yourself, you are protecting your friends and family, loved ones, vulnerable populations. Just keep that in the back of your head, please. Remind yourself that it's not just you that's affected by a breach. You can infect people. You know, you think back in the olden days of a couple years ago when it was the chain mail. You get put on an email list, oh, forward this to 10 of your friends or you're gonna get hacked, and it's some malicious link on it. And you can tell it's spammy and it's gross, but people get scared and they forward that email. It's the same idea. You never know how those secure actions can impact your friends and family. What do? You've decided you're gonna go back into security, you care. What can you do? Of course, the ones that everyone talks about, try not to reuse passwords, change your passwords often, and use really secure, complex passwords. If you want to make your life easier, you can use a password manager, but do your research. There are password managers that have been breached, and that's not the greatest position to be in. But I do want to drive home the point of using OSINT, or open source intelligence, to know what's going on about you. If malicious actors have access to this data, why shouldn't you? And there are a lot of sites that you could just go on google.com and find a lot of very personal information about yourself. IntelliJex, that'sthem.com, Hunter.io. I'll leave a few in the description box that you can play around with. They're all totally free. You might need to create an account, but other than that, you can access everything. That'sthem.com, you can see your mortgage. You can see so much information that you think should be private and personal. Sure, it is out there, but that's not a great feeling to have, that things that you want to protect and keep secret are out in the open for anyone. Even your best friend can go Google you. They don't need to be a malicious actor. on the dark web or a .onion or .tor. It is openly available on Google. These sites exist, they're not illegal. And IntelliJex.com, I am very glad I found that site because I went to search my email and found that I had been part of a breach from my gym. My gym had not disclosed this breach. So even if you trust companies to tell you, there are ways to double check and make sure that you're all good. Make sure you're checking up on your digital presence because I know the hackers are. There might be way more on the dark web. Don't get me wrong, it's not that 100% of the information available on the quote-unquote dark web is available on these OSINT sites, but it gives you a taste of what people are able to find if they really want to, if they know, if they try hard enough. And then another tool you can use is just Google. Set up a Google alert for your name. If you share your name with a celebrity, it might be a little tough, but for most of us, just set up a Google alert. It's super easy. I'll leave a tutorial in the description. It's a great way to know what's going on with your name, whether someone's pretending to be you or your name is being linked to news articles that you didn't know about, or if you're in a breach and the data is available in a plain text file. A lot of the times you can Google and of course, I would not recommend clicking on them, but you can see if you Google your name or your phone number or your social, you can see a plain text data entry with all the information of you and other people who have been breached. Personally, I choose not to click on those sites because I know that there's a good chance that if a bad person and put them on Google, they want to do bad things to anyone that clicks on it. So proceed with caution, but there are things there. On IntelliJex, and that's them, you can put your social security number in there, your credit card number in there. You can put whatever you want in there. Again, proceed with caution, do what you feel comfortable with. Personally, maybe I would put an expired credit card to see if a previous card had been displayed anywhere on the internet. But you know, there are a lot of tools out there that anyone can use. So use those. Use them to your advantage. If you know what's out there, you can prevent more data from being shown. I will also leave a link in the description to deleteme.io, and it helps you get your data off of these sites, but it's not foolproof. There are web caches, so even if it's been deleted from the present website, you may be able to still Google and find a cached version of the site with your data. So please know that it is not 100%, and they give you that disclaimer as well. But it's just a little something to help you kind of delete your presence. Personally, my generation starting on the internet so young, you know, elementary school, I remember being on those big Apple computers with the color glass background. I've been on the internet for a very long time, and there are mistakes that I made in middle school that I would love to fix, get myself off of a bunch of those breaches, etc. I do hope this was helpful and has given you a renewed interest in cybersecurity and protecting yourself. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you back here for the next episode of Synergy Technical's IT Mythbusting.